Hello and welcome Universe Mode. Welcome to the best show there is. Once more you have been graced with the presence of ECW live here in Belfast, Northern Ireland. We are here for a big night of ECW action. To be fair, the road onto Heatwave continues on, and while Raw may have their near meaningless pay-per-view this Sunday compared to ours, we have still got to try and put on a great show, as we always do, to prove just how much of the A brand we are. And you're going to see it here tonight when a previously advertised matchup of Baron Corbin and Bobby Roode square off one-on-one. If Corbin wins, it's going to be a triple threat matchup for the ECW Television Championship at Heatwave. Should Bobby Roode win, it will remain a one-on-one matchup between the Glorious One and Dean Ambrose. And speaking of Dean Ambrose, he will be in action later on tonight, facing the Wyatt family's Aleister Black. One-on-one here. Black, who is scheduled to fight Samoa Joe at Heatwave, looks to continue to build the momentum that he's had ever since arriving on this brand, and he will look to continue that here tonight with a win over the Lunatic Fringe. And then we move on to our main event tag team action for you. The Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels teams up with the scum, the villainy, and the ironic, the disgusting Diamond Dallas Page to face off against the former ECW Television Champion Wade Barrett and the ECW Champion Seth Rollins. Of course, Page and Rollins set to meet for the final time, I hope and pray, at Heatwave. But here tonight, they're going to go up against each other on opposing sides for Rollins to even further continue to rub in just how meaningless and pointless Diamond Dallas Page is to the ECW roster. So that being said, we're going to kick things off with Baron Corbin against Bobby Roode. Alright, let's kick this off with something that was brought to our attention, of course, at One Night Stand. Baron Corbin's victory over Sheamus did not go unnoticed by the Glorious One, Bobby Roode, who proceeded to jump the Lone Wolf following that matchup, proclaiming really that his main interest, it seemed as if we thought it was going to be the Four Horsemen, but it seemed not to be the case. He just wanted to get his hands on Baron Corbin, and kind of in an alpha male battle, really, that seemed destined to be just about these two men, but has since moved on from that and is now focused on the ECW Television Championship, following Roode's victory over Dean Ambrose last week. Of course, if you remember, Corbin was meant to fight Ambrose 2 weeks ago, and that ended up not happening through Bobby Roode's interference and pre-match attack on the Lone Wolf. But now here tonight, both these men are going to square off, and as I said when introducing the card, should Roode win here tonight, it'll just be a one-on-one matchup between himself and Dean Ambrose at ECW Heatwave. However, if he's unable to settle the score against Corbin here tonight, Corbin will be added to that matchup, and we will lay eyes on a triple threat match for the ECW Television Championship. Of course, you may be questioning, what if Aleister Black wins later on tonight? Of course, Black is already penciled in and has signed the contract for that matchup against Samoa Joe at Heatwave. So that match is, Aleister Black will not be added to that matchup. Speaking of Samoa Joe, we will be hearing from the Samoan Submission Machine coming up after this contest, which I am deeply interested to hear from. I gotta be honest, it has been a long and tough time, really, for Samoa Joe. And just look at Roode right now, even nigging the lighting, even taking every asset, really, from Baron Corbin, full on mocking the Lone Wolf right now as he heads towards the ring, and the crowd once more sing along to the theme of the Glorious One. I say this time and time again, it doesn't matter where we are, who you are, if you love him, if you hate him, you sing along to his theme, because that's the effect that Bobby Roode has on you. You sing his song, and even if you choose to boo him afterwards, it's settled. You're already addicted to Bobby Roode, like millions are around the world today. And Roode, it seems, is not interested. The Glorious One is not interested in sharing a spotlight anymore. He wants to just go right to work on Corbin. He has waited to get his hands on the Lone Wolf now in this one-on-one aspect for some time, and Corbin's wanted the same. And now here, they get to meet up one-on-one. What a way to kick off ECW, with these two men going at it. Into the steps they go here. I think the bell did ring because Roode, no, Apparently the bell didn't ring because the referee wasn't in the ring at the time. Meaning these two men can continue to fight on the outside for now. Roode, I'm not a fan of that. I think after that collision into the steps, Roode wants back in the ring. The bell now rings and we are underway here. Roode still got that robe on him. Oh, good God. Look at Roode here. What a capture suplex there by the Glorious One. And he takes the moment to soak in whatever the people have to say. Bobby Roode flooring Baron Corbin there and now gets the chance to take off that robe. This matchup now firmly underway between these two bitter enemies temporarily, with one common goal it seems right now, the ECW Television Championship. Or maybe two, with of course a victory over the other being the other common goal that they would share. What else is in store for you here tonight? Well, we're going to be determining the number one contender to the ECW Tag Team Championship after we hear, of course, well, next up we got Samoa Joe. Then we determine the number one contenders to the ECW Tag Team Championship. All out, really. 6-man battle royal involving the 6 of the teams here on this brand. The other 6 teams on this brand that, of course, aren't the ECW Tag Team Champions of Austin Aries and Curtis Axel. So, with that being said, we've got Akam representing the Authors of Pain. We've got, I believe it's Ciampa representing DIY. Jimmy Uso. Chris Benoit representing the newly formed team he's had with Malenko. Jericho representing the 4 Horsemen. And Bray Wyatt representing the Wyatt family. Nice backbreaker there by Baron Corbin. But it's only temporary as Bobby Roode's able to get the counter here. Here we go. Now Roode can get it underway. Soak in the magnificence you see when Bobby Roode's in the ring. Or maybe not. Corbin able to fight back quite well there. Against the former WWE Champion. Roode, they're able to get a great counter. And now, utilizing the strength that he possesses to slam the 6'10" Baron Corbin. As if he was just a cruiserweight. Speaking of cruiserweights, following the Dean Ambrose Aleister Black match, we're going to be getting a rematch from last week between Hideo Itami and Neville. If you remember, that matchup ended in questionable circumstances following the use of the ropes. Well, Neville tried using the ropes to kick out. The referee didn't clock onto it, but now because of that, we're going to be seeing a rematch between those two men to settle that one firmly. As you can see there, I'm glad that someone's Minecraft has finished updating. It's totally not mine. And then, of course, we have our main event, as previously stated, the tag team matchup between Michaels, DDP, Barrett, and Rollins. I cannot wait to get to see Diamond Dallas Page embarrassed by Seth Rollins. Cannot wait to see a prologue, a prelude, whatever you want to say, a sneak peek into ECW Heatwave. But right now, we're watching this matchup. Corbin and Roode going at it. Great arm drag there by Corbin into the ring, and only managing a 1 count though. Bobby Roode being sure to power out of that one as soon as possible. Does not want to stay down too long. Really held his own thus far. It's been an incredible back and forth matchup. Neither man really utilized control all that well. Good counter though by Corbin. Excellent with that solid punch. He's the former Golden Gloves winner. Able to utilize those fists to his advantage, and now knees into the gut. That's certainly going to help out with the end of days. What will Corbin look for now? Corbin is going to look for the end of days. Speak of it, and he will go for it. Baron Corbin reels him in. End of days to Roode. Will that be it for Bobby Roode? There's 1. There's 2, and it's not. Roode kicks out. Keeping the matchup alive for his sake. Corbin may have jumped Roode at the end of his matchup against Ambrose last week. And you would have thought that would have fired up Roode into this matchup, but it seems not. As Bobby Roode is in a whole world of trouble right now. Courtesy of the Lone Wolf. Elbow in the gut there, though, by Roode. Is he able to fight back here? Yes, he is. Roode now. Fisherman's suplex to the near 7-footer. Hitting it with relative ease, and almost won it. Very nearly got the win there. But Bobby Roode is not done. Roode, middle of the ring. Crossface on Corbin. Can this be it? Corbin is crawling. He is crawling fast to try and get out of this submission hold. Remember, the 4 Horsemen probably been taught how to get out holds like this by Arn Anderson and Jericho. And that's paid off right there and then. Corbin out of it. His hope staying alive. And now looking to try and slow down the pace, but Roode having none of it. He missed that crucial punch there, Bobby Roode did. And now Corbin can extract something here. Oh, this is... Okay, I thought he was going for a second there. He was going to sit him up on the top rope, but it's not going to happen. It's going to be in the Tree of Woe, and what a stomp in the chest there. Baron Corbin now, up high, top rope, elbow across the jaw of Bobby Roode. Good God almighty. Who would have thought you would have laid eyes on that happening? Bobby Roode seems to be getting sent into corner after corner here by Baron Corbin. Corbin certainly has something in mind. Uh-oh, this is looking pretty bad for Roode. Snake Eyes! Can the Glorious One fight out of this now? He's looking like a T-bone on the way. Yes, he can. Corbin took way too long, and that gave Roode all the time he needed to fight out of it. Lovely T-bone suplex there. What will Roode look for here? Looking to utilize his offense. Russian leg sweep. That is some way away, Roode. Are you sure you climbed up the right turnbuckle for this one? Bobby Roode from nearly 3/4 of the way across the ring. Oh, Corbin moved out of the way. He misses the splash there, and that could be Corbin's opportunity to get something going. This matchup being more so Bobby Roode's than what it's been Corbin's, and Corbin is acting out against it. This crowd here now getting behind the Lone Wolf, and there is a deep 6 for Bobby Roode. Wow, not even a 1 count. Bobby Roode refusing to stay down, wanting it to just be a one-on-one match, wanting to further embarrass the Lone Wolf. Perhaps Roode just wanted to show just how much of a failure the Four Horsemen are, but Corbin's not taking too kindly to that. Baron Corbin now with another end of days. Middle of the ring, will Roode kick out? There's 2, there's 3. Baron Corbin, your winner. He extracts a measure of revenge against Bobby Roode for what happened both 2 weeks ago and at One Night Stand. Baron Corbin, your winner here in this one. He's got himself a matchup now against this man, Dean Ambrose, jumping the queue and going right for Baron Corbin. I wouldn't have expected to see this at all. Dean Ambrose just deciding, screw it, towards waiting in line. He wants to get his hands on Baron Corbin right now. The Lunatic Fringe acting out. And he looks like he may want to try and nail Baron Corbin here. Send a message that he couldn't send 2 weeks ago. Ambrose now with the dirty deeds onto Corbin, busting open the Lone Wolf. Well, it has become apparent that Ambrose will not simply watch outside as these two men continue to have their rivalry with one another. Dean Ambrose wants in on this one. And a heatwave, he's going to get just that when these 3 men collide for the ECW Television Championship. But there we have it. What a bit of work there by Dean Ambrose. The win by Corbin, but it's Ambrose who has the last laugh. Will that carry over later on tonight into that matchup against Aleister Black? We'll find out. But right now, we're going to be hearing from the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. It has been a long and tiring road really for Samoa Joe these last few months, really, ever since, I don't know, even before ECW, it just seemed as if Joe was always at his end, but ECW almost revived Samoa Joe. Everything seemed to be going well for the Samoan submission machine, all up until that illustrious night at One Night Stand. But now Samoa Joe finally gets to say a few words about his opponent at Heatwave and Aleister Black, and just reiterating that point right now about the road he's been down. I know people thought Aleister Black was the end of it, and to be fair, that is the truth. I gotta agree with Joe there on that very matter. But with that, it seems as if not only is he talking about how it seems like it should have been his ending, but how it's almost a rejuvenation for Samoa Joe now. This lack of filter that he's going on about can take it all out on Aleister Black whenever Heatwave comes around. And we talked about it last week, how the victory for Joe seemed meaningless, because it wasn't Aleister Black. It wasn't important to Samoa Joe, and that is just the case. He doesn't care how many people or who he's got to go through. He just wants Aleister Black. And that is one hell of a final warning. That is one good way to send a message to Black. The blame goes to himself. The blame basically he's saying goes to Black for what he did a one-night stand. And a heat wave, the judge, jury, and executioner will be Samoa Joe. Joe certainly not a man who's wanting to take too lightly to the recent threats by Aleister Black. Not someone who seems as if he can hang on anymore. He's reached his limit. He's surpassed his limit, as he said, and he is ready for Heatwave, for Aleister Black. He is ready to end this once and for all between himself and the Wyatt family, and more specifically himself and Aleister Black. Will he be able to do it though? We'll find out at Heatwave for sure, if that is going to be the case. And I know I cannot wait to see that matchup. That is 100% for sure, but right now we're going to turn our focus to the Tag Team Division 6-man Battle Royal to determine the #1 contenders for the ECW Tag Team Championship. Out first comes Chris Benoit, representing the team, of course, of himself and Dean Malenko. But Benoit right now looking just for a victory maybe on ECW. Let me try English again. Since Benoit's arrival, of course, to this roster, he hasn't really picked up a win. So Benoit will be able to turn that around in an impressive fashion as well, really, with a win here tonight that gets himself and Dean Malenko the opportunity at the WWE Tag Team Champion, the ECW Tag Team Championship. Sorry, I don't know why I'm going on about such a meaningless title, but still got a lot of ways to go, really. Still got a lot of opponents to go through, and one of them right here in Jimmy Uso. The Usos certainly a little bit more fired up ever since they've made their return to this universe, ever since they showed up on ECW. The attitude that they've possessed has both helped and hindered them in a way ever since their arrival. Because yes, while it certainly brought them attention, while it certainly gave them eyes, while it certainly got eyes on them, it didn't help when they bit off more than they could chew against the Authors of Pain. And that was proven in its wholeheartedness really a few weeks ago, when the Authors of Pain picked up a relatively easy win over the Usos. And it led a few to believe that the Authors of Pain were the #1 contenders for the tag team titles. In fact, for a second, I even thought about deciding to just give them the tag team titles. But then decided to mix it up and make ECW the brand that it is. You know, the land of opportunity. How would it be an opportunity if just one team was allowed that chance? Not going to be the case. 6-man Battle Royal. Good stuffs. Anyway, Tommaso Ciampa comes towards the ring right now, of course, representing DIY, the runner-up in this year's King of the Ring. Ciampa going to be looking to get that win, to get DIY another opportunity. Of course, if you saw last week, themselves and the Dirty Heels went at it in a very impressive back-and-forth tag team matchup. But it was not the case for DIY. It was not to be on the night. Curtis Axel, surprisingly, coming through at the end of it and saving his tag team partner and guaranteeing the Dirty Heels would hold on to those tag team titles for another day. Will they make it past Heatwave, though? I don't know. Could they make it past the Dirty Heels on a second occasion? I don't know. We'll find out, of course, at Heatwave, should the Dirty Heels win. We'll find out who they're going to be facing, of course, at Heatwave in just a moment's time. So far, what is it? 3 in the ring right now. Well, 3 in the matchup right now. Here comes Y2J out of the 4 Horsemen, the most experienced man in this matchup. Perhaps himself and Benoit perhaps holding relative experience, and seeing himself and Benoit in this matchup right now on opposite corners. It was some time ago. The majority of you wouldn't actually be aware of it, but Jericho and Benoit were actually WWE Tag Team Champions on one occasion, and now here they are tonight on separate sides, trying to claim the same prize. Though it just goes to show what a difference a few years can make in this universe, and how anything can change almost as quickly as it's formed, really. But the leader of the Four Horsemen, the man who's responsible for the recent success of the likes of Barrett and Corbin, really, and the introduction of Roderick Strong into this universe. Jericho has done an awful lot to make sure that he has provided for the future of ECW for those next 2 days when Jericho is no longer a name around here, maybe. Certainly, while Jericho has shown a more different side to him over the last 2 weeks, where the company might have won Diamond Dallas Page, and I should have punished him further by putting him in that tag team main event. We sorted it out. We shook hands, and I realized how vital really Jericho is to this ECW brand. How much of a veteran he is. How he can help out the likes of, of those fresh talents, of your Ciampas, of I'm trying to think of another few examples, but Ciampa's, those kind of guys are immediately coming to my mind right now. However, it's safe to say that this man and his tag team partner are not going to be relying upon Chris Jericho for advice anytime in the future. Akam heads towards the ring here. Last time Akam was involved in a matchup like this, it was the fatal 4-way to determine the #1 contender, and he was easily able to win that match, pin Jimmy Uso, but of course there's going to be no pinfalls in this matchup. All about who can throw their opponent over the top rope. Last man standing in the ring at the end of it all will be the #1 contender for the ECW Tag Team Championship, a Heatwave, and certainly Akam going to be looking to keep that undefeated streak alive. And I would argue that he's the favorite to win this one. Maybe second place within this matchup might be Wyatt, but it could also be someone like a Jericho or a Benoit or even a Ciampa. Anyone really with a relative strong chance of winning this matchup. They've just got to overthrow the strength that Akam possesses. And now here comes the last arrival into this matchup. Here comes the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt. The Firefly. Oh, that's not Bray Wyatt. That is the monster among men. That is Braun Strowman heading towards the ring. That for sure is not his leader. Bray Wyatt has sent Braun Strowman to do the work for him. The undefeated Braun Strowman, the man who has clocked in a record now of 16-0 on ECW ever since his arrival in about October, November time. Braun Strowman has gone through man after man. He's gone through Samoa Joe on 2 occasions. Of course, maybe the second occasion a bit more controversial, but he's even defeated the former ECW champion, Diamond Dallas Page, with no interference, no underhanded tactics. Braun Strowman has a victory over the ECW champion, both in tag team and singles action, albeit the singles one only coming by way of disqualification, but still, Strowman still holds those victories over him. Even if Rollins wasn't involved, really, wasn't pinned or submitted in either one of those matches. Still goes down as a win in the record books, but nevertheless, Strowman here tonight, looking to turn his attention away from all the wars he's been through in the past few months against Corbin at guilty as charged. No, sorry, Corbin was barely illegal, and Joe a one-night stand. Now it is Strowman's time to try and capture some gold, maybe. The Wyatt family would be in for a successful night if they could defeat Samoa Joe through Aleister Black and capture the ECW Tag Team titles. Right now we're looking at all sorts of things going on here. Akam with Jericho in his hands. Will he topple him over already? Jericho is out already. Akam in moments eliminating the leader of the Four Horsemen, and Y2J has to be feeling frustrated and a bit of failure. The problems for the Four Horsemen continue on. Seems as if there may be some problem maybe all around, even in leadership as well. Benoit now. He's unable to hang on as well. Good God, Benoit's tough times on ECW continue. And just as quickly as the matchup began, we are already down to just 4 men in this one. Jimmy Uso going after Braun Strowman. Ciampa going after Akam. And Akam skimming the cat. Near 7-footer right there, skimming the cat. Great. I mean, that was incredible to see. And Jimmy Uso right now able to take it to Strowman, trying to keep the big man on the ground, but he gets a thumping boot in the face and clatter down. Good God almighty. Oh, look at the strength there of Strowman. With little ease right there. Just huffed him up in the air, but he dodges the big boot. Jimmy Uso. All of a sudden, is this an opening now for him? No, it's not. There's a suplex reversal by Strowman. Ciampa, meanwhile, in the background, certainly holding his own right now against Akam. DIY, it seems, desperate to try and get that victory there. Ciampa really showing how far DIY will go to try and get another opportunity. Eye rake there by Jimmy Uso, and now he looks to try and go to work onto Strowman. Look at the strength of Akam, though. Any one of these 4 teams here could really pose a threat towards the Dirty Heels' tag team reign. I mean, if it wasn't for the intervention of the Usos, a one-night stand, it's safe to say that Akam and Rezar would be your ECW tag team champions. Back to work once more goes Jimmy Uso now, trying to eliminate Strowman, but he is going to need probably all 3 of those men to stand a chance of getting rid of the monster among men. Akam might be in a bit of trouble here. Ciampa, we know this, the brute strength the Psycho Killer presents, and we're seeing her right there with that brain buster onto the 300+ pounder. What an elbow drop now by Jimmy Uso. He's able to hold his own against Strowman. Fair play to him. He's able to counter Strowman at a lot of areas. But will he be able to counter much longer? Jimmy Uso here may be in trouble. Put up onto that second rope, onto that top rope even. Big trouble for Uso. He's teetering. And Jimmy Uso's out of here at the hands of Strowman. Akam now in even bigger trouble. Strowman and Ciampa trying to get rid of him here. Who would have thought these 2 men would work together? And Akam is gone. Akam toppled and we're down to 2. Strowman and Ciampa. Who out of these 2 men will win the opportunity for their team to challenge the Dirty Heels of Heatwave? Can Ciampa get something going here? Can he pull off a miraculous sole elimination of Strowman? Seems not. Strowman, if they wanted to stand a chance of winning, they should have eliminated Strowman much earlier on in this one. When everyone was trying to pick an opponent, if all had picked the same man, if all had gone for Strowman, they may have stood a chance of getting him out. Ciampa doing completely the wrong thing right there. Strowman was on the ground and he could take advantage of him. But instead, Ciampa took the opportunity to get a little bit cocky, and that may have cost him. That may have cost him dearly. Braun Strowman with a choke slam over the ropes. And to the outside. Stick a fork in it. It is done. Braun Strowman wins the match. Not meant to be in this one, but nevertheless, I am not going to change that opinion. I am not going to change that outcome. If you think I'm going to stand up to Braun Strowman, yeah, I'd be an idiot for doing that. But there's your winner, Braun Strowman. That means a heat wave. Strowman and Wyatt will challenge Axel and Aries for the ECW Tag Team Championship. Will they be able to pull it off? I think so. I know they don't have as much tag team experience, but Strowman's undefeated, and that's all you need. That's all you really need to provide success, is have the undefeated Braun Strowman in your corner, and all is well. Axel and Aries better clutch onto those titles, or better try and hope they can get another disqualification on their, in their advantage to hold on to those tag team titles, because otherwise they're not going to stand a chance of remaining ECW Tag Team Champions. We move on here to a man we've already seen tonight, the Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose. We saw Ambrose, of course, get the jump on Baron Corbin following his win over Bobby Roode. We, of course, know that it's going to be a triple threat match at Heatwave for that ECW Television Championship. Only question being, really, can Ambrose hold on? Will he be able, in a match where he doesn't even have to be pinned, of course, for his championship to change hands, will he be able to stay calm in the moment? Will he be able to make sure that he can remain the ECW Television Champion? But here comes his opponent. The man who has left so much of an impact in such a little time. The man destined to meet Samoa Joe in about 2.5 weeks. It's Aleister Black of the Wyatt family, who is ready for perhaps the biggest matchup he's had. I would say the biggest matchup he's had since arriving in this universe so far. He may have Joe a heatwave, but what a momentum builder this would be for Black if he was able to get a win over the ECW television champion. Of course, Ambrose has done so much within this universe as well. Former Intercontinental champion, former Mr. Money in the Bank, former WWE champion, former United States champion as well. Of course, Ambrose, to my knowledge, the only man in this universe to have held all the mid-card titles. Dean Ambrose is quite a big name within this universe in that accord. And here tonight, Aleister Black will go one-on-one with him. If Black can pick up a win, this will prove just how dangerous he is and just how much problems Samoa Joe may be in when it comes to Heatwave. But he's not going to let that affect him. We know that Joe is not going to be put off by simply what he sees. It's what Aleister Black can do to Samoa Joe, and Aleister Black has already done enough to deserve the worst kind of punishment from Samoa Joe, as he said earlier tonight. Joe said he's not going to put his hands on him anymore. So that means we are just in for a solid wrestling matchup, really. With two styles that are similar, but also completely different. Well, I will explain as it goes, really. I mean, both men rely heavily upon strikes. They're a very striking kind of athletes. However, they're two completely different style of strikes. Ambrose is just a flailing brawler. He will just punch and keep on punching you, and even when he thinks you're out cold, he will continue to punch you. That's how he operates. Aleister Black is not that. He is calculated. He is precise. Ambrose hits in mass, really. Aleister Black just needs one kick to send his opponent down to the ground. And Ambrose, you can see there with that mass there, just repeated stomps to the face of Aleister Black. And he's quick to counter with one uppercut and suddenly be able to turn the matchup into his favor. And how Black likes to operate as well. He likes to keep it a little bit slow, wearing down there on the arm of Ambrose. Ambrose, of course, as I said, when he likes to go in mass, in flurries, he likes to wrestle a very fast pace. If Aleister Black keeps him slow, if he wrestles at his pace, Ambrose is going to be at a significant disadvantage. Ambrose there able to fight back right there, though, with a back suplex, and just a running double axe handle right after it. No technical wrestling. Oh, what a bulldog there by Ambrose to counter that move by Aleister Black. And the Lunatic Fringe now explode with offense. Maybe so. Headlock driver. Cover right after it. Ambrose hoping it's enough here for an early win, but not going to be the case. Quite a lot of back and forth going on between these two men, and look at this now. Oh! Rope hung DDT there, and Orton, you know, you got to compare that to Randy Orton's. Orton's is so much more slow and drawn out. Aleister Black, with no warning whatsoever, had him hooked in a single underhook position as well. So Ambrose couldn't get free, and then just dumped him on his head. But of course, that's not going to affect Dean Ambrose. He's always been a few screws loose, is the nicest way I can think about putting it. Ambrose now going to go up high. Aleister Black some way away. That didn't stop Ambrose, though, from trying to get him. Mistimed it, or misjudged it even. And Black now with a dragon sleeper. Look at that. Just the way he holds his neck there is so weird to lay eyes on, really. But he keeps going. Your neck breaker by Ambrose. How he's able to fight back just after that, I don't know. But that is just who Dean Ambrose is. Man really built up on living off of barbed wire matches and all other kinds of contraptions like that. Ambrose right at his home when it comes into a brawling aspect, when it comes to a tough competitor like Aleister Black is. His signature elbow off the top rope only gets a 2 count though. He is starting to wear down Black a little bit. And Black does not want to show any signs of weakness heading into Heatwave. What a cutter there by Aleister Black. Good counter though by Ambrose. Quick and responsive. The ECW television champion, of course, also wants to try and build momentum. He's got a triple threat match to deal with at Heatwave. Oh, one simple mistake though, and Ambrose pays for it. The spinning kick right in the head by Black. Will this be enough to secure victory? It will not be. Great kick out there. Aleister Black arguing with himself at the kick out. But Dean Ambrose definitely got that shoulder up in time just before the 3 count. And I'll commend Ambrose there for a very solid kick out at 2. And oh, now Black's starting to play his games. Stomped him right in the gut there. Black now going to go up high. What will we see from this mysterious superstar? Leg drop missed there. Ambrose, can he capitalize here? Oh, I thought he was going to go for dirty deeds for a second. It seemed not to be. Knee right in the head there. Oh, high kick there, mistimed. And Ambrose, the flurry of strikes into the chest. Ambrose is starting to get fired up. The Lunatic Fringe starting to get a little bit, to light himself up a little bit. But Black is quick to stop that. Ambrose took too long before deciding what to do next. Forearm shot in the face, and the fatigue now and the beat down that Black has brought to him, perhaps paying dividends there. Ambrose dropping to one knee temporarily. But quick to take Black to the ropes, and quick to get countered by Black as well. What an arm drag there. This matchup been very back and forth, very competitive. I'm enjoying this one. And Aleister Black once more slowing down the pace a little bit, keeping Ambrose pinned on the ground. And look at how he goes to work on that leg here, trying to take away the speed of Ambrose. But Ambrose not going to take too kindly to that. Hops right back up to his feet. And here comes Ambrose now. The Lunatic Fringe lighting up. Double forearms in the face. And another one in the corner. And Ambrose with a bulldog to follow up. Good God. Dean Ambrose just exploding with offense all of a sudden. Could this be the turning point? Could this be the end of Aleister Black's undefeated streak? Could this provide a serious problem for Black? No! What a counter! Look at that. What a forearm shot that is, as if like a bull hammer struck. Will it be enough? There's one. There's two. Ambrose is still able to kick out. And Black is now getting right in the referee's face about it. He can hardly believe it. Incredible work there by the Lunatic Fringe. I don't know how he was able to kick out, but fair play to Ambrose for at least being able to. Ambrose back up on his feet. Took a moment to catch his breath. No way. Even after everything that Black has delivered to him, Dean Ambrose still wants to do a little more. The Lunatic still wants to go for another wild ride. Ambrose prepping up. Suicide dive to Black. Both men hit hard on the outside. Ambrose's knees colliding into that floor, and Black's back sent hurling towards the barricade. This crowd here on their feet at the sight of it. This Belfast crowd getting far more than they bargained for. What a solid match this has been. Just going to show how ECW is the best brand week in and week out, with matches like these being put on time and time again. Ambrose here lifts up Black now. Can he capitalize following that suicide dive? Maybe not. Simple forearm shot, and all of a sudden, Black now unloading with a flurry of strikes as if it was Dean Ambrose. But look at how precise they are. Look at how well he strikes them as well. How Black is able to suddenly fight back following that is unbeknownst to me. But Black here looking for the win. Can only manage a 1 count. Dean Ambrose still showing tremendous heart even at this stage of the match. Uh-oh. Deadlift reverse suplex there. And Black looks to end it all. And Aleister Black now with Black Mass once more. Down goes Ambrose. And the ECW Television Champion suffers a defeat at the hands of the newest member of the Wyatt family. What a win for Aleister Black this is. A monumental victory in a really entertaining matchup. It's a win for Black. Well, it's a good thing that Ambrose got the jump on Corbin earlier, because otherwise he'd be heading out of here with no momentum and looking weaker heading into that championship matchup at Heatwave. But good for him that he did that. But it's still a win for Aleister Black, and it is still another bit of momentum gained on the road to Heatwave. Himself and Joe, I think, are just going to trade wins back and forth now until Heatwave comes around. It seems as if both men are hungry to get those wins, and they're so desiring Heatwave to just come tomorrow so those two men can clash. What a matchup that's going to be, and I will make sure that no interferences can be put into place. That it will just be a simplistic one-on-one matchup that has to come to an end. But here we go, here comes Hideo Itami against Neville, and all of a sudden, Neville, with his frustrations showing from last week, getting the jump on Itami. Would never have expected this from Neville. This is completely unexpected. Neville's frustrations seem to be continuing to brew here. Oh, DDT on the steel ramp. Clearly, last week certainly had a lasting effect in the mind of Neville. It looked as if he wanted to try and take Itami right off the edge there. Itami did a good job to hang on to stop himself from falling over. But Neville certainly seems beyond frustrated. And he's trying to get a jump on Itami here, and it may have backfired. Itami now starting to fight back. Maybe German suplex. Great work there. Oh, Neville almost went off the edge. Neville now wanted to run towards the ring, it seems. Wanted to get out of dodge here. This may have backfired on the man that Gravity forgot. But he's certainly proven just how frustrated he is at what took place last week in that matchup. DDT again. Down goes Itami. However, that certainly seemed to have backfired on Neville right now. Itami trying to fight back here, but Neville quick to respond. And a forearm shot there. Down goes Itami, and Neville certainly seeming with a bit of attitude to him here. Neville does not look best pleased. Of course, I talked about it earlier. In case you didn't see last week's ECW, in which case, what is wrong with you? But to clarify, Neville and Itami were going at it. Simplistic one-on-one matchup. When Itami hit a maneuver, Neville's hand was on the ropes. Referee didn't see it. Counted 3. And since then, Neville has remained incredibly annoyed at what transpired and believes that victory should have been his. That is why this rematch is in place. To see if that is the case or not. Corkscrew moonsault there by Neville, who goes up high now. Red Arrow. Neville may have finished off Itami this quickly. Not to be, actually. Neville kicks out at 2 there. Sorry, Itami kicks out at 2 and is able to fight back as well. If Itami can make it 2 wins in a row, that would be great for him. Just needs to actually try and get through it. Try and get through this matchup as well. Falcon Arrow there. Down goes Neville. One of the few moves he's actually got in this entire matchup. Of course, these two men vying for an opportunity, a Heatwave to challenge Suicide for the Cruiserweight Championship. Be hoping they've done enough to guarantee that opportunity here. Crowd also here. Of course, we've got to remember, we are in the United Kingdom. Well, of course, while we're in Belfast, we are in Northern Ireland still. So, you know, we are just we're not that far away from England. But the crowd on the side of Hideo Itami, even they are not best pleased with what Neville did at the start of this matchup. Another DDT. Another move that just plants Itami on his head. And Neville now will look for another brainbuster. Dumping Itami head first on the mat. And now what will Neville do? Second rope. Oh! Phoenix splash off the second rope. If it works for Rollins, it should work for Neville. Oh, so close. And Neville's going to feel hard done by the referee's count. They may think that the referee has something in for him. There's another corkscrew moonsault by Neville. And he's going to go up high again. Will he look for the red arrow once more? Or does Neville have something else in mind? Imploding 450. Take a look at that on the replay. Back turned and is able to nail that 450 splash. Cover after it. Itami, I think, is done for. That's a win Neville can be proud of. That is a way to bounce back from last week. Neville certainly looking to just put that behind him and move on, but it seems as if the matter in which he took it has not reacted well with some of the fans. I can see clear boos, clear thumbs downs as well. All towards Neville following what he did. Neville certainly soaked in the victory, and while there are clearly quite a few UK fans here, or English fans here to cheer on Neville, it has not settled well with a lot of fans. Maybe a 50-50 split on what Neville just did, and if you're all about getting an attitude, if you're all about getting yourself noticed, I can't blame Neville for what he just did, but you know, I think what happened there was Neville took his frustrations out on the wrong man. It was the referee who cost Neville the matchup last week, not Hideo Itami. But that doesn't make a difference to Neville, it seems, and we'll see if Neville's going to wind up with a future Cruiserweight Championship opportunity. That's, of course, in my hands, and I'll be sure to decide that in the next few weeks to come. But here we go. It is main event time. Tag team matchup. Michaels and DDP against Barrett and Rollins. Shawn Michaels here making his first appearance on ECW television. Last time, of course, we saw him was when he lost in the opener of One Night Stand, the glorious one, Bobby Roode. So my question is to DDP, if you wanted a tag team partner who could back you up, why take Shawn Michaels? I'm not trying to be offensive to Michaels. His record speaks for himself, and his record in ECW as well is certainly going to speak for itself. I don't think you made a solid choice here at all, Diamond Dallas Page, but maybe this is just one of your plans, isn't it? Maybe this is one of your ploys to make sure there's more attention on you. So, you know, Michaels can be here and he can try, but everyone's going to forget Michaels by the end of the night. They're going to focus on how incredible Diamond Dallas Page was in the matchup, how he gave it his all to get the win. So all the headlines read about Diamond Dallas Page's performance, and Shawn Michaels is merely cast off to the side. He's in the small print. Whereas you're front and center and you can feed your ego. What I haven't understood recently is over the last few weeks, how people keep on questioning me over my viewpoints on Diamond Dallas Page. Why I believe what why I don't believe, why I say what I say, why I speak the truth, why myself and Rollins, say what we say and mean it because it is fact. People think that I'm in the wrong in this situation. People believe I'm the idiot in this situation. That could not be further from the truth. If you're unable to open your eyes and realize the situation we're in, where Diamond Dallas Page uses the fans and is going to use Shawn Michaels and is going to try and use this match to feed his ego, then you're the idiot. I have done near enough all that I can to make you realize who Diamond Dallas Page really is. The fraud, the liar, the backstabber that Diamond Dallas Page is. I have said this before. Even Rollins said it last week. Under Diamond Dallas Page, this ECW was a dictatorship used to fill the ego of one man. Under Seth Rollins, this is a democracy to fill the desire of many. Diamond Dallas Page can oppose that all he wants. It's democracy. He's allowed to oppose it. But what he isn't allowed to oppose it with is his false stance. His stance that he is up and beyond everyone, while continuing to clutch towards the crowd. And the crowd are still stupid enough to buy into everything DDP says. If you won't listen to truth, if you won't listen to reasoning, then I will allow you to fall and sink on the same ship that Diamond Dallas Page will be on at Heatwave. Whatever you want to call that ship, name it whatever you want. USS failure, USS backstabbing prick. Name it whatever you want to name it. It doesn't make a difference to me because the Seth Rollins Empire, the Seth Rollins democracy continues on past Heatwave, past SummerSlam, past 2017, and into many, many years to come. The greatest wrestler alive today, and the greatest wrestler of all time, holds the greatest championship within this sport. Seth Rollins, no one comes close to him. He has proven it on so many occasions. Just look at his win-loss record, which you can find in the link below in the ProJaked Wiki. Updated and all. He is near 100 wins ever since he made his debut in this universe. No one in this universe has 100 wins. Seth Rollins has the most wins in this universe at 95. Cesaro was right behind him at 94, but look at how Cesaro's dipped off momentum recently. Just to put that into retrospective, he has 95 wins, and people call Bobby Fish the best wrestler alive. He's the best technical wrestler alive, yes. He's not the best wrestler alive. Look at that. Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, I'll gloss off Nakamura because he's only been here a year. Who else is there? Brock Lesnar, Wade Barrett, he has one hell of a record going for him. So many names right there below Seth Rollins. And Diamond Dallas Page is another one of those names. In fact, you look at Page's record, and it's basically summing up his career as a whole. One big, giant failure. Is it a positive record? Yes. Is that a bit unusual in this universe? I suppose you'd say so. Is it still a failure, though, because you look at his losses and you realize just how many times he can throw away an easy win? Absolutely. Page has been living off of a joke, really, for so much time. A joke that he is all for the people. That is not a, yes, here we go. Scrap what I was about to say. Rollins is in to give Page a piece of his mind. Barrett there gets countered, and Page unloads on Rollins. The referee's not even paying attention. He's got his eyes locked on Barrett for some reason. Backbreaker there. Beautiful move by Rollins. I have waited a long time to get my hands on to see this one up close and personal. A preview to Heatwave right here, right now. Michaels steps off the apron because he knows where he belongs. He knows he does not interfere in Seth Rollins' business. Page now with him up on his shoulders. Oh, yes. What a counter by Rollins. What a reversal that is. Need him right in the face as well. He deserves it. Go on, hit him with another one. Do it again. Listen to this place. They don't even like DDP. Finally someone's seen reason. They just chanted, "We want Michaels." No one wants you, DDP. Continuing on here. Oh, counter there by Page. Come on. Come on, Rollins. Just bounce back from that. Continue on. Come on. Ref, you should really keep your eye open here. You know what Page is like. You know how much of a scumbag he is. He could easily cheat. Come on, ref. Keep a close eye on what's going on here. Diamond Dallas Page way up in the air. Ref, that was a... Come on, ref. That was a blatant poke in the eye, and you were not aware of it. And now look at this. Page desperate to make that tag into Michaels. He's scared. He wants to run away. Michaels now in. Elbow drop there in the throat. Come on, ref. Page on the outside now, running away from his pain, running away from his troubles. Look at how he tries to make sure he's looking like he's for the crowd. They wanted Michaels in. They get Michaels in. Nice Seth Walker there by Rollins. And you can see Rollins wants nothing to do with Michaels. He doesn't want to exert unnecessary energy. Doesn't want to perhaps pick up a random injury against Michaels that could put that match at Heatwave in jeopardy. So instead he makes the safe tag. into his partner. Wade Barrett, more than reliable, really. A former, you know, the 2016 Royal Rumble winner, two-time ECW television champion, two-time ECW tag team champion as well. So he's got all that. He's got a lot going for him. Elbow drop there off the top, though by Michaels. Signature elbow. Wade Barrett may be in a world of trouble. Great counter there by Barrett. Sends him into his own corner. Michaels, though, quick to counter. And now a tag once more made. Page in here and crossbody there. Doesn't even try and follow up with a pin because he knows just how weak he is in the air. Wade Barrett now. Pump handle slam again. Takes too long and Page is able to reverse it. People keep on talking, of course, with Page about how I should respect him because of him winning back the ECW from the NWO. I'd like to remind... Oh, good God almighty. Right, you want to kick out? You want to kick out? Hey, look, Michaels isn't even bothering to get involved. Michaels didn't even try. Oh, that's great. That is incredible to witness. Alright, no need to attack the illegal man there, Page. God. Scumbag tactics all around here being witnessed by Diamond Dallas Page. But as I was about to say, people think I should cheer for Page because he won the ECW back from the NWO. I'd like to remind you, that was a group effort, including the man currently in this matchup in Wade Barrett. Did he get the final fall? Yes. And do I commend Page for what he did? Yes. And I'll come back to that point in a moment. Sweet chin music to Barrett. Good God, Rollins. What were you thinking when you chose this man? That's what you were thinking. Resiliency. Gotcha. Come on. Ref. Diamond Dallas Page just attempted to jump Wade Barrett there. And you did absolutely nothing to stop it. As I was about to say, as I'm finally going to try and make this point now. Yeah, I'm supposed to, you know, do I commend Page for what he did? Yes. Am I happy that he did that? Absolutely. Does that mean I have to respect Page for what he did? No. That's like saying, you know, I have to respect Page for what he did. So if a friend of yours that you knew, let me just use an example. Let's say there was, I don't know, a pest. Let's say there was a rat living in your house, okay? And your friend got rid of that rat by, you know, and your friend managed to get rid of that rat. You're going to thank him for it. But if you realized, I don't know, he basically sacrificed your pet, I don't know, he sacrificed a pet of yours in order to get that rat out of there, you're not going to be that keen on him. He has killed something to get rid of something. And that's what Diamond Dallas Page did. In removing the rat that was the NWO, he killed the common bond that ECW had. He killed the old ECW just to remove that one rat. And the problem is, for Diamond Dallas Page to be aware of, in killing that rat, he himself metaphorically became that rat. And Seth Rollins is here to remove that rat, but he is not killing that pet. He is not letting that pet die just so he can kill that rat. Rollins is bringing that pet back to life in his own way. He is caring for that pet as if it was one of his own. And Seth Rollins himself is taking matters into his own hands, is using his own, yes Barrett, that was great, is using his own talents to remove that rat, that giant, annoying rat that is Diamond Dallas Page. As another sweet chin music there is hit. Page nowhere in sight though, and oh, Rollins would have broken that one up, but it's all good. Page, you can get out the ring now. Come on, get out the ring. Basically what I'm saying is, DDP is nothing more than a rodent that will be exterminated at the hands of Seth Rollins. And a rat is putting it nicely when it comes to describing Diamond Dallas Page. A snake is perhaps the best example I can think of. Diamond Dallas Page is one of the biggest examples of a snake there is possibly. Michaels quick to get up to his feet here now. I still have that name in my mind. Ugh. Barrett quick to stop it. Hey, Page would have been quick to stop it as well. You never know when they go backstage. Now Diamond Dallas Page will probably say that there is no common friendship between himself and Shawn Michaels. Tag made now. Tag made. In comes Page. What will the failure manage to do here? He manages to get reversed in an instant. And you still love this guy for what reason? I still don't get it. But you know, I'm the stupid one. I'm the stupid one for believing what I believe. We'll keep that up. Alright. You got me good. Just remember though, you know, with you continuing to complain about how I lead this brand, just remember you are watching the best brand there is. You are tuning in to watch the best talent and Diamond Dallas Page. You are tuning in to see the best storylines, the best audiences, sometimes when it doesn't come to Diamond Dallas Page, the best ring equipment, the best cameraman, the best stage, the best setup, the best product in general. So for every time you want to think about complaining, just remember how great this ECW roster is. Just remember how great this brand is, and how we don't need someone like Diamond Dallas Page around here being a poison within this industry. And look at how Page now. Page has done jack shit in this match, and he's crawling as if he's been shot over to cover Wade Barrett. Rollins having absolutely none of that charade right there. Diamond Dallas Page just a complete bull there to do that, and now goes into a cover right after. Come on, Barrett. Please. Please. I hate you, Wade Barrett. Diamond Dallas Page picks up the win. 6 words I hate saying right there. Fun fact, that's 7. It shows how much it shows how little I care about Diamond Dallas Page that I can't even be bothered to count the amount of words I say in a sentence when it comes to him. The Rat picks up a win. Himself and Michaels get the win, and it is as I said at the start of this matchup. He used Michaels for his own self-gain. Look at even how the camera is set here. DDP front and center, Michaels with his back turned. Don't pay attention to Heartbreak Kid. Don't pay attention to Shawn Michaels. Pay attention to me. Look at what I did. I got the theme. I got the theme. I got the win. My theme is playing. I did it. That is the selfish attitude of Diamond Dallas Page, and that is the attitude that will crumble at Heatwave, courtesy of Seth Rollins. And allow me to say it ahead of time. You're welcome.